Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. For some, the name will be Tiger Woods. For others, Tom Brady or even Michael Jordan. But for me, the greatest athlete in the history of the world is on the main stage. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the perfect storm, John Brzenk. And
Yoshinobu,
just so we are
Kanai.
very clear, Neil Pickup, I refuse to have any part in this being the last match of one John Brzenk. I could never hold back the tears the second that I knew it was completely over. There are a lot of heroes in people's lives. When it comes to arm wrestlers, this is your hero. No one has ever done it as well as the young man on the right. And I am really, really hoping this isn't the last one because he has a great opponent.
Away we go, and John Brzenk gains hand control, ladies and gentlemen. A roar to the crowd from the warlord Yoshi Kanai. These guys have met before, and Brzenk looking to be diligent there, looking to move at the right time and to dominate the areas of the table which he needs to dominate. Comes back to center, starts to gather himself a little again. And Brzenk has hand and wrist control. He's looking to try to time the movements perfectly as Yoshi Kanai bumps and presses back into the fingers of John Brzenk.
We've seen exactly how sticky Yoshi Kanai can be with Toddzilla, and make no mistake about it, Yoshi appreciates the fact that this could be the Phenom's last match, but no matter, a win is a win.
He's facing the warlord Yoshi Kanai, the man in the white shirt from Kobe, Japan. This is a multiple world champion who progressed through the weight categories. Kanai. He returned to East versus West after a significant absence from the sport of arm wrestling. When he came back, he shocked the world by giving a very, very tough match to America's Toddzilla, Todd Hutchins.
And that is a complete understatement. We have seen Todd Hutchins just absolute rape and pillage the entire 105 world. Yoshi Kanai was a huge test. Ingen Terzi stressed that there is a spot where Yoshi is devastating. Todd hit that spot. He was very, very patient and was able to get that victory. But as soon as we left there, we left not thinking Todd was any more special than we thought, but that Yoshi was one of those special athletes. And here we go, round two. Watch for John Brzenk to take control.
Adopted there from John Brzenk, and he secures it. Would love to see him climb here and keep that momentum. Always don't allow Yoshi to work and get that balance point. If John can climb up that hand and secure a much better position, from there maybe he can get some kind of greater purchase in here. And Yoshi, we've seen him lie back in this position many times before. But if John can just secure a better hand, higher hand, get a more aggressive position into the fingertips of Yoshi, you do feel like the match would change. Height is critical. Balance has always been critical for Yoshi. He loves to work from a static position, but his arm strength is mega. And John Brzenk has given up his hand and wrist there, I was going to say, but it was an elbow foul, I believe, called on him before the conclusion of the match. He dropped into the press, but I think he did so half-heartedly, Travis. There was no real commitment there. He didn't grit his teeth and dive on it. It was...
Every arm wrestling guy 6 months into arm wrestling is what you will ever see. Now, we do know that the champ has some tricks up his sleeve. They will go directly to the straps. But once again, barring Yoshi Kanai being a super respectful guy and maybe giving the champ round 3, this does not look likely. Yoshi Kanai, think about his debut in the East vs. West. Only had 2 matches. Who are your 2 matches, Yoshi? No problem. Toddzilla, great performance. And then right after that, the greatest arm wrestler that has ever lived in John Brzenk. Yoshi Kanai and Matt Mask need to start thinking about their two paths meeting up.
Close your hand.
John Brzenk.
There.
Slightly different position on the hand and wrist there. We just saw No Limits Devon Larratt come into his corner with some advice, tips and suggestions. There is no one in the sport of arm wrestling who does not look up to John Brzenk and admire this guy when you've watched him for over 30 years, put on masterclass performances, now over 60 years of age, and he's still here in the game of iron arms, hanging on with everything he's got. And as he starts to turn the hand and wrist of Yoshi Kanai, Kanai remains diligent in his own attack on the lower fingers of John Brzenk. John tries to dive on it again, and Yoshi right to the back of the pad, but it is Kanai with the pin. Yoshi secures the second, and the fatigue level in John will be astronomical at this stage.
And just like always, what a sportsman John Brzenk is, giving the nod to Yoshi, recognizing that the young man is here to win. A great performance. And let's not take anything away from the situation. We understand that our hearts, our love for John Brzenk has never been bigger than it is right now. Is this going 5 rounds? Is it over, or is it the 7th round?
There is another round left. Devastating at this stage, because you can see the amount of fatigue that is already in the arm, the hand, the wrist. As Bob Brown and No Limits Devon Larratt talk to John, try and get him to find a way, will him back into this arm wrestling match. Every fibre of our beings would love to see John pull something off here. It would be the most dramatic situation imaginable if John Brzenk could somehow find a way back into this arm wrestling match. This building may hit the ground.
30 seconds.
Well,
right now,
Neil, you were crying like a sissy yesterday. I hate to see the way you're going to react if this thing doesn't turn around.
Listen, Travis, you've many times talked about the fact that should the American win, you would strip to your underwear and sprint around the arena. I will make that statement today. You can do that.
I will do that.
No problem.
If John Brzenk comes back and wins 3-2,
Get stripping.
I will be in my skippies. And listen, guys, I know for most of you, you imagine that because I am the athlete that I am super Johnny ripped. But that is not the case right now, so it will be a sight.
Travis, I've made the decision that if he can pull this back, I will join you on that run. And if we're talking about physical prowess, I'm somewhere between a cross between a man and a large sea-bound mammal. But I'm in.
I appreciate you taking some of the attention off of me, Neil Pickup. Always a team player. But once again, let's use this time to celebrate what I consider the greatest athlete of all times, a personal hero and an absolute gem when it comes to the sport of arm wrestling.
Now, when we look at this match and the manner in which it's played out, the biggest issue is the ability for Yoshi Kanai to just absorb attacks. He's always been incredible at this. And you've got to remember, these guys have met before. So Yoshi Kanai is very familiar with John Brzenk's attacks, with his lanes, with the manner in which he competes. And from those encounters, he's learned. And he told us that he's the strongest he's ever been coming in here, as John tried to go straight into that shoulder roll attack there, dropping and pressing in, trying to change the lane a little bit. Sells his hand and wrist to try and gain a better position off center, but Yoshi Kanai rock strong there. John gathers it again. That thumb of John Brzenk is such a weapon. Trying to make Yoshi Kanai work there, and he drives forward again, John, but Yoshi softens out and absorbs it yet again. The man is unbelievably durable. Brzenk hanging in there, trying to fold back that hand and wrist. Yoshi carves sideways and starts to press himself. John Brzenk has center, starts to move now to the side, and Kanai hanging on to it. But Brzenk is edging towards the pad, and he can see a chink of daylight here. John Brzenk Back pressure firmly applied. Yoshi Kanai comes around, and it is the press for the Warlord. Kanai with the win. He came to destroy the fairy story, and the man from Japan secured.